Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Ray's Reviews. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about all the recent negative Crypto.com news. So what exactly happened? Three things. Number one, they dropped their earn rates for a third time. Yes, a third time in just the last month. Number two, they have nerfed their Crypto.com debit cards significantly, reducing the CRO Cashback on all cards. And number three, they first eliminated the staking rewards for all the Crypto.com debit cards, but then subsequently amended it to 4% for Jade Green and 8% for ICY White and Obsidian Black, which is still a significant reduction. And these are all really substantial changes and has received some really bad backlash. So we will address what happened, why I think it happened, and what I'm personally doing in response to these changes. Now, I will say that I shot some parts of this video when Crypto.com eliminated the staking reward rates altogether before they announced a more reduced version of staking reward rates, but I'm still going to keep the parts where I talk about them eliminating the staking reward rates and insert some commentary afterwards so everyone can see my thought process and how it kind of evolved. So with that said, stay tuned and let's go. Change number one, Crypto.com earn got nerfed again, and now tier 1 earn limits are only $3,000. Yes, only $3,000 instead of the previous $30,000 limit. Tier 2 is now between $3,000 and $30,000, which is 50% of tier 1 rates, and tier 3 is 30% of tier 2 rates. So there's some inception level stuff going on, but essentially it's 15% of tier 1 rates. So massive drops all across the board. The only news is that they're giving you until June 1st before these new rate changes take effect. But if I were you, I wouldn't wait till the last day. I would wait till maybe 1 week and 1 day before so you can front run them before they announce the new tier 1 rate of only $300 on Wednesday, May 25th. Sorry, I just had to make that joke. Yes, this new rate change sucks. I did not expect another rate drop, especially with two recent rate drops from Crypto.com. So why did this move happen? Rate drops are happening all across the board. We have an extended crypto bear market. Voyager Digital recently dropped their rates, and of course Celsius stopped the earn program for non-accredited investors. The SEC is clamping down on all interest-bearing crypto products across the US. And while this move sucks, it's really not the worst of it, which we'll get into a little bit later on. But I think at this point, if you are looking for yield in the US, especially through a centralized crypto company, I think at this point it's fair to say that even if another company is offering better rates, it's just a matter of time before they can drop or eliminate rates altogether due to SEC regulation. And with the recent Crypto.com earn nukes, Celsius news for non-accredited investors, and rate drops on Voyager Digital, again, my preferred centralized savings platform is Hodlnaut if you're in the US. They have pretty good Bitcoin and Ethereum rates, and I do have a referral link below if you want to check them out. And of course, if you're not in the US, you have good options like Nexo and even Plutus Card, which I hear is doing quite well. All right, change number two. No more staking rewards on Ruby Red and above cards beginning on June 1st, 2022. All right, so the official news is that if you entered into a card stake prior to May 1st, your staking rewards are good for the full 6-month period until your existing stake expires. But if you enter into a new card stake anytime after May 1st, including a restake, you only earn staking rewards up to June 1st and then no more. All right, this one is a little bit of a shocker as the CRO staking for the cards was one of the main selling points of the card, and that is getting interest yield for locking up your card for a 6-month period and getting that weekly CRO interest. And this is a very surprising move, and obviously as an ICY White card holder, a very disappointing one for me as well. The only thing that doesn't make sense is that like DeFi rates are still untouched, and you can still stake CRO and get between 10 to 12% through the Crypto.com DeFi wallet. And what really kind of annoyed me was that they didn't really give you the option to choose for yourself whether you wanted to go in for one last stake prior to June 1 and earn CRO interest. They just decided on a cutoff date. So someone like myself, where my card stake actually expired, I was actually planning on accumulating more CRO before going in for another 6-month lockup period, but I don't have that choice anymore. So on one side, there are some people that might have wanted to go in for one final 6-month restake and accumulate CRO interest, whereas some people, if they knew this news was coming, they might have not staked at all. And I'll be honest, I don't really love this move. The only savings grace would be that the DeFi wallet still offers close to 12% interest on CRO yield, which again really doesn't make sense to me. This move was just too kind of sudden and too unexpected. I just believe there might be something going on behind the scenes, perhaps with SEC regulation and possibly Crypto.com not wanting CRO to be classified as a security. Now, one thing about CRO is that there is a capped supply of around 30 billion. So the 10 or 12% staking rewards, they wouldn't have been sustainable forever. That would have been mathematically impossible. but I always thought that the staking rewards would be phased out slowly and reduced over time, definitely not dropped to zero all at once. Again, the move was just too sudden and too harsh. The move really took me by surprise. Is there something going on behind the scenes? It's very possible. After all, why would you keep DeFi rates at 12% untouched, which isn't used as much by the mainstream, but hurt the flagship of the whole Crypto.com ecosystem, which are the Crypto.com debit cards and weekly staking rewards. All right, so obviously there's been a subsequent update since I shot this part of the video, and instead of making two videos, I thought I'd just add a little insert update clip here. And obviously that is Crypto.com, and Chris Marszalek has sort of backtracked a little bit on their decision. Instead of kind of fully eliminating the full staking rates on all the cards, they have kind of compromised a little bit. And I'll kind of just read this message from this Twitter thread that comes from Chris Marszalek from Crypto.com, and that is, the community has been really vocal with regards to the changes to the card program announced yesterday. We care deeply about the community. We hear you and always listen to you. As a result, we're revising card staking rates. And instead of eliminating card staking earn rates completely, they're going to offer a more balanced approach, which is now 8% APY for private members. So that's Obsidian Black card holders and ICY White card holders like myself. So it's a drop of about 4% from our previous 12%. And then the reduction for the Royal Indigo and Jade Green card holders is now at 4% APY, and that is a drop of 6% from the original 10% APY. So how do I feel about this move? Obviously, I'm a lot happier, and as you can kind of see my reaction yesterday, I definitely didn't understand, why this move happened. And I'll be first and foremost, I'll be really honest, I got the call wrong in terms of I thought that this had something to do with SEC regulation and Crypto.com possibly not wanting CRO to be classified as a security as they kind of, rolled out that institutional launch of the US exchange, followed by the eventual launch for retail users. I really thought that because it just completely didn't make sense from my eyes why they would kind of keep the earn rates the same for the DeFi wallet, but then eliminate it on the card stakes, which is their flagship program. So there's obviously has been a lot of backlash on like Twitter and Reddit. So I'm really glad they kind of at least came to some sort of compromise over that, because it just really didn't make sense in my eyes. So I'm really glad that this move happened, but I really thought that this kind of should have been thought out a lot better as well. Like it just didn't really make sense from the beginning, right? Like they should have just, if they were gonna, if they wanted to reduce the staking rates or something like that, I think they should have just done that from the very get-go. I think there would have been much less backlash as opposed to kind of eliminating them outright. But I just wanted to share that. This is just a very authentic update to it. And when I get something wrong, I'll admit it too, right? I really thought that it was due to SEC regulation, but clearly it's not. They still have full control over the staking rates and the ability to kind of control the percentages and that. But at least it's a good thing. It's a positive note that there is some sort of compromise and they are starting to listen to the community a little bit more. So hopefully that kind of addressed some of that, and let's get back to the rest of the video. All right, change number 3. The CRO Cashback got nerfed all across the board, and these are the new rates. And just off the top, yeah, they don't look really good. Now, one thing I will immediately comment on is that one of the main reasons you used a crypto debit card in the past was that its reward rates was better than traditional finance products. That was the main appeal, especially for like the entry-level $400 Ruby Steel card, which formerly had a 2% CRO cashback. But now the Ruby Steel card only has a 0.5% CRO cashback with an active stake. The Jade Green has been reduced to 1.5%, ICY White to 3%, and Obsidian Black to 5%. On top of that, Ruby Steel and Jade Green now have a maximum CRO cashback of $25 and $50 respectively, while on the website it says that ICY White card holders and Obsidian Black don't have any maximum cap, which is untrue, by the way, as you can only top up $25,000 every month on the Crypto.com debit card, so there was always a theoretical max on your CRO cashback. I think this is by far the most disappointing news and really hurts the look of crypto in general. In traditional finance, credit card cashback rates rarely ever change, and obviously you can get like 1.5% cashback with like the Chase Unlimited Freedom card or 2% cashback with the Wells Fargo Active Cash card. So the only crypto debit cards that would beat out the traditional finance world cards are really the ICY White and the Obsidian Black cards, and both of them have been nuked a little bit, unfortunately. All right, let's do a little bit of discussion and analysis, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I think and some of my own personal moves as well. So first off, let's start off with what Crypto.com team really needs to do a better job on. These are things that they really need to improve on. And number one is communication. The way things are communicated, especially with like the earn rates dropping multiple times in a span of like a month, and then switching earn rates all the time and so suddenly just doesn't have a great look. Now, marketing spend is great as a long-term revenue generator, which I explained in one of my previous videos, which you can go watch, but most people don't see it that way. Instead, what they see is that you're spending $1 billion on sports advertisements and then taking away all the things that you were really used to, and those are those interest rates. And there's definitely an unintentional optics problem that probably needs to be addressed. Like optics. Life is all about optics and possibly chocolate. Wait, did that rhyme? Is it my sign to leave crypto and work overtime on rapping lines? Nah, I'm too behind. I would need a life rewind. I'll go bankrupt like a chapter 9. Maybe I should find a mastermind? Never mind, it's too late. It's after 9 and I'm past my prime. It's time for me to continue this video after I unwind with a glass of wine. All right, number 2, understanding your target customer. Before Crypto.com positioned themselves as this all-in-one crypto ecosystem where you had an exchange, world-class earn product, and crypto debit card system. And many users, especially brand new to crypto, fell in love with the marketing, the shiny crypto debit cards, and obviously the ease of use. After all, Crypto.com was the company that introduced them to this brand new exciting world of Web3 and cryptocurrency that they never would have heard about otherwise, because the marketing was and is just so brilliant. The one thing that Crypto.com completely nails is marketing and partnerships. But all the recent moves seems to really be pushing the whales out, and there are just many long-term users of Crypto.com that are upset. So upset that you have all these Reddit posts of ICY White card holders and Obsidian Black card holders saying that they're leaving Crypto.com for good. Now, I personally don't think Crypto.com deserves all the blame. Some of these moves are definitely unintentional due to SEC regulation. Some of them are a result of the bear market, and some of them is just due to explosive user growth that is unprecedented and unsustainable. And maybe they don't really know how to handle all these new funds coming in, and they can't generate sufficient yield on it, especially in a bear market. And overall, due to this crypto bear market, there is just much less exchange activity. People are not buying as much as they were, say, in April or May of last year, and more people are shifting to stable coins and using things like Anchor protocol. So it's very possible that there is not enough exchange activity to cover all the crypto earn rewards and CRO Cashback in the short term. And this could very well be a short-term response with existing projections to a longer-term sustainable Crypto.com. But I would definitely say you need to not only focus on obtaining new customers, but you also have to focus on retaining existing ones. And I really think that Crypto.com needs to focus more attention to customer success. Like, there are just too many negative Reddit posts, and I think this needs to be addressed properly by someone on the team. I know when Celsius went through the same thing when they kind of went sort of to that whole no more earn for non-accredited investors. They had a very similar backlash, but I think they did a little bit of a better job of addressing it in AMA, and some of the ways to kind of go around it, like going through Verify Investor and things along those lines. So I really think that Crypto.com just needs to do a little bit of a better job on customer success and focusing a little bit more on that. All right, and the third thing is they need to absolutely crush the launch of the US exchange. And there is no doubt that institutional adoption of cryptocurrencies is coming, and Crypto.com will help drive it. They need to really crush the launch of the US exchange. Institutional investors are first in line, but retail users are next, and it's essential that they have a successful launch. The Crypto.com app in its current form is not going to cut it, as more sophisticated investors or even more new users sort of level up and want to see a more reduced trading fees with a desktop version of the exchange. Now, this launch is super important, and they need to absolutely crush it out the water. So I will be carefully monitoring it. I really hope to see this Crypto.com exchange, once it's launched in the US, really succeed. I'm have very high hopes for it, and I think it's really going to have a very dominating effect. All right, now let's talk about things from a little bit of a more optimistic note. So I know it's hard to find anything positive from this, but let's start off with the million-dollar question. Will Crypto.com survive this? And the answer is yes, they will. They are not going away anytime soon. They are a big four crypto exchange along with Binance, Coinbase, FTX. They have a lot of growing pains, as do all crypto companies, especially with uncertain SEC regulation. But they do have a 20-year deal with the Lakers Arena, and crypto exchanges, as I mentioned in my last video, are massively profitable. I have no doubt in my mind that they will find long-term sustainability, and the bull market will eventually come back. And the excitement that comes with that is trading coins with more and more exchange activity. And Crypto.com continues to add new coins before their competitors. And I still believe Crypto.com is planning a path to IPO, as I mentioned in my last video. All right, number 2, is there a burn coming? One of the biggest rumors out there is that Crypto.com may announce another burn sometime soon. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but that would certainly help offset some of the negative news. After all, with all the recent changes, CRO is becoming more scarce, as it's going to be harder and harder to obtain due to eliminating staking rewards on the cards and obviously reducing the CRO cashback. Now, if Crypto.com were to do another burn and further increase the scarcity of CRO, this would definitely be a big confidence boost. And keep in mind that when Crypto.com hits 100 million users, which it will, on average, there is only 300 CRO for each of their 100 million users. CRO is not an inflationary asset. There is a capped supply, and another upcoming burn, if it were to ever happen, would obviously be a big boost. All right, number 3, what are some new portfolio strategies? What am I doing? Honestly, this is a tough one. I've been giving this one a lot of thought over the last few days. I love Crypto.com, but I'm also here to earn yield just like everyone else. One thing I will let you know is that I continue to have my CRO staked on my ICY White card, even though I am free to unstake at any point now. I could have sold, I did not. I still think the future is bright long term. These are just kind of short-term reactions. But of course, due to the recent changes, one thing for sure is that I no longer have aspiration for the Obsidian Black card anymore until kind of things turn around. You know, that was the thing that I was aspiring for before, but now I don't see the point. I will most likely just maintain the minimum CRO amount for the ICY White card on June 1st and transfer the rest of my CRO to DeFi wallet and continue to earn CRO yield there. As for crypto earn and the reduced limit, I continue to shift assets over to Hodlnaut. And once again, I have a referral link below if you are interested. Now, I'm still loving CRO Cashback. 3% is still good, not as great as 5%, but still better than traditional finance. I do have to do a little bit more thinking, but the most likely scenario for me is to probably just maintain the card, obviously just at the minimum stake level, as there's 0 point to have more CRO staked than the absolute minimum amount to maintain the card. Now, when the rest can just go to like DeFi and earn yield through the Crypto.com DeFi wallet. Now, I've always been a fan of mainstream crypto adoption, and I'm very excited about Web 3.0 and all the opportunities it presents. This news does suck, but this is just the beginning of Web 3.0 and the entire crypto asset revolution. I think Crypto.com is still going to be a major player in driving the mass adoption, and the whole ecosystem will do well in the future. I will, of course, do a deeper video dive into some other alternatives like the Terra Luna ecosystem in my next video and cover some portfolio strategies, but I think that's enough for this video. I don't want to make it too long. Wait, hold on, don't leave yet. The video is not over yet. I just had to insert this little update clip because obviously there's been some subsequent changes since I shot that video last night. And I was just watching that video and man, I look so tired. I'm obviously not a night person. I think it was around like midnight when I shot that video, so I'm not my usual high energy self. I'm much better as a morning person. But what I wanted to say is that I just wanted to show everyone my thought process. Even, last night I was tired of shooting the video, but that when I shot that video, it was pretty much before the whole bounce back in the staking rates occurred. So I really wanted to show everyone my thought process. Even at that point in time, I wasn't gonna leave the ecosystem just because they eliminated the staking rates on the ICY White card. And obviously with the new news, I'm definitely not going to. Now my strategy is really not going to change. I still am going to keep the minimum stake required for the ICY White card, and then the rest of my CRO is going to go into the DeFi wallet because the 12% yield that you're going to get on it is still going to be higher than the 8% yield due to the new reduced rate. It's not the same. Before it was 12% on the card stake, 12% on DeFi wallet. So just for like simplicity purposes, I would just throw it all on the card stake because there's no like unbonding period or anything like that. And it's just more simple and seamless to just kind of do everything all at once. Now, what do I think about kind of like what happened overall with the whole situation, with them kind of like bouncing back and forth from, you know, eliminating the staking rates and then kind of coming back and compromising? Like if they just made that original announcement to have the reduced staking rates outright versus kind of eliminating the staking rates altogether, I don't think there would have been as much community backlash, because it's crazy. There's some people that pretty much yesterday, they decided to kind of exit their ICY White stake. They decided to sell everything and leave the platform. And that was all before kind of this news kind of rescinded. So in crypto, you just have to, especially when you're working with, you know, different projects, it's just that things change all the time. You can't make any rash decisions. You still have to think of projects, especially a project like Crypto.com, from a long-term perspective, where it's headed. There's obviously going to be growing pains along the way. Keep in mind, this is a 6-year-old startup. It's not a finished product. This is not like the final product or anything like that. You know, there's going to be bumpy roads ahead if you are a Crypto.com holder or a CRO holder. So those are all things to kind of keep in mind as you kind of go through this entire crypto experience. But definitely, I agree, you know, the PR disaster, they shouldn't have done what they've done. I'm glad they listened to the community and kind of backtracked on the decision a little bit and kind of compromised. So I thought that was, you know, a nice thing for them to do. You know, I'm still going to continue to use the program. I still believe in the long-term trajectory of the program. And yeah, I just wanted to give that little quick update. Wanted to show everyone my thought process from, you know, the eliminating the staking rewards to kind of coming back with the reduced version. So hope that helps. And this is the final ending. Please like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.